Okay, so I want to introduce Melissa Collier, Russell Cameron, and Duncan Cameron, who are all active fish harvesters, who are going to provide some reflections. And from this panel, we're going to move into our wrap-up plenary with a report out from the rapporteurs on what we've heard.
Well, I'm Russell Cameron. I've been in the fishing industry all my life. My father was a fish buyer and all of my uncles fishermen. And so I started on fish camps from as a baby and graduated into fishing, always living in Pender Harbor. And I never really figured out what I wanted to do with my life, so it's too late now, so I want to stay in fishing. And through the time when I was involved from about 1980, when I was actually on boats fishing and on my own boat shortly after that, the bulk of the small boat fleet anyway were all owner operated. It wasn't a policy, it was just the way it sort of worked. There were some company fleets and other stuff, but the bulk of the fishermen owned their boat, their fishing license, and made a living over a number of fisheries. And slowly that whittled away and changed all through my life. And being a union member and strongly on it for all my life too, and we were always fighting to find an owner-operator. That was always part of it. There's a Cruikshank report in 1989 or something like that that really laid out how to go there and what it would do. But we managed to spend 30 years losing that battle. And if that had to come in, we would have been in a different position today now. I think that's shown from what the speakers on the East Coast and other stuff have said. And so I think that, in short, the most important thing we can do here is look to that, push it forward, keep focused on that, get the minister or the PMO or the Prime Minister to say this is what we need to do. We need to get the owner-operator policy as on the East Coast here. That it's going to happen. You guys figure out how to make it work best. And start that clock ticking. And I really, mostly I'm in a little bit of despair about fishing and where things are going. But this gathering here today has really helped me think we've got a chance and we've got an opportunity, and we need to really forcefully take it. And anyway, and I'd like to thank everybody who organized it and the Songhees and that here for allowing us and the whole works. But anyway, that's my quick take.
Hi everybody. So my name is Melissa Collier. People who were here yesterday heard me speak and tell my woeful story. A really quick background, my husband is a fourth generation fisherman. He was just telling earlier today about how he used to have a lot of members in his family that are fishermen. And out of all of those branches of the family, what boils down today is it's him and his cousin. Out of all of those people that have fished, out of all those generations, they're the other ones left, And I'm representing my husband, I'm representing our fishing family, I'm representing our children who want to be fifth generation fishermen, I'm representing the generations that come after us, and hopefully our family can continue passing that legacy down. I've become the mouthpiece of our family, and I think it's really important, and I also think it's important to recognize that, yes, I'm here, I'm very fortunate to be here, I'm fortunate that we just wrapped up our fishing season, so we weren't actually on the water, and we're able to come into the room today. I know there's a lot of people who'd like to be here, a lot of fishermen who want to be represented here, but they can't be here because they are working. They are working hard. They're working on their gear. They're getting ready to go out in their season. They're wrapping up their season, or they're actually actively fishing right this second on the water. So I'm grateful here to lend my voice to support all of those people as well. The points I really want to say is I think this last couple of days have been really heavy. I think a few people in this room, particularly us active harvesters, we feel like we just ran a marathon. It's been a very emotional couple of days, heavy material. There's a lot of feelings of downheartedness, of feeling doom, despair. But at the same time, I think the organizers of the event, and thank you very much for that, have managed to come around and bring us some light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like we have this call to action. We have a commitment that we're demanding. We need a commitment from DFO. We need DFO to say, yes, we commit to this new licensing policy, licensing reform. We commit to the fact that we know we need fleet separation or owner-operator, whatever term you want to use, but we need that. We need a commitment from DFO. We need not only a commitment, but we need them to be accountable to that commitment so they actually meet it. And we need timeline. We need action now. We've all been having this conversation for too long. We need them to actually put a timeline on there to say, yes, we're doing this now. Another key word that I think came out of today was not just engagement, but us harvesters, fishermen, non-Indigenous, Indigenous communities. We're all co-developers. You don't engage with us, we co-develop this with you. We are as much embedded in this process as the process itself. Like, we are the process. We are very much a part of this, and that needs to be made happen. And I have to say, just this last panel, thank you very much to the organizers for bringing that around, because after all of this really, really heavy topics, to have 3 members of parliament sit up here with such a strong commitment to us and our goals, telling us that they're going to take this back to their parties, telling us that they're going to bring this forward, having Ken Hardy give us clear terms of what we need to do and how we need to move this forward. I don't know about you guys, but I feel heard. I feel heard by our province, and I feel really bolstered up by that process, and I'm really, really hoping that we can get this moving forward and we can get some change. So, in the words of what Ken Hardy said, can we actually do this? Yes, we can. So let's keep going, and I just want to say thank you all for everyone who's been doing this and putting this together, and thank you for having me up here today.
I'm going to attempt to say what Melissa said, but probably not as well. But I just want to, everything Melissa said. My name is Duncan Cameron. I'm a 4th-generation fisherman. I'm a director for the Crab Fishermen's Association. It's BC's most valuable fishery. I own licenses, I lease licenses, I've sold licenses, I bought licenses. So pretty familiar with the system. I know for a lot of people here it seems like a giant mess, and it is, but it's actually not that complicated to solve it. And like the people on the screen behind me, I was sort of not supposed to be here today. I was supposed to be working on my boat, but I'm sticking around. So I think I'm just going to get down to brass tacks as to like the last gathering a lot more young harvesters was at. Some of them recommendations were highlighted here, and it seemed like a lot of agreement yesterday. I guess as like a harvester, you feel like a lot of time you just have to solve every problem, and that's just part of the job, whether it's lobbying politicians or fixing a refrigeration unit or going to a peer-reviewed science and trying to, not be as educated and try and get your points across with a different language. So I think I'm just going to take these and take sort of that harvester sort of just let's solve the problem approach, because as Melissa said, I just don't know how it's not done yet. But anyway, so recommendation 2, stopping the future sales of quoted licenses to non-Canadians. The BC Crab Fishermen's Association has been asking for this since 2018. A lot of reasons for that. Our fishery is getting really valuable. We see lots of interest getting into the fishery. We see CFN getting an RFA agreement, up and coming a house at court case, and we need those licenses to be available for First Nations and not for foreign investors or Chinese-controlled processors. So as far as just getting that done, I don't really see, Ken, and sorry if I may be wrong here, but like how that isn't a priority for the minister. It's really key for reconciliation. It makes First Nations the biggest buyer on the block. And as a fisherman who wants to keep fishing the rest of my life, that needs to happen. That access needs to be come to them through that process so we can work together. I don't see how that one just doesn't come in immediately. It's sort of, for me, we can look at all these things, what do you want to do? But we're driving in the wrong direction, and that recommendation to me is let's stop the car and decide where we're going before we keep speeding off in the wrong direction. So it's like implementing that, it seems simple to me, and it seems pretty simple to BC's most valuable fishery. Financially incentivizing independent harvesters, the union has a proposal for that. You can allow independent harvesters or First Nations to buy licenses that are married, unmarry them. You could change vessel length, standardize vessel length, which is a Transport Canada problem. You can solve those problems at the same time. The union has a proposal. It's ready to go. Regulating leasing costs, number 3. We have Dan Edwards, Jim McIsaac, and we had a Seafood Alliance member in the room who basically put forward a proposal like that. DFO lawyers said it was no good. Lots of other lawyers said it was good. That's what the courts are for, is challenging law. So I don't know why DFO wouldn't just try to put it into work and see if someone challenges it. To me, it's pretty simple. Number 4, and the last one, transparency of the beneficial ownership and quotas for licenses. It doesn't have to be a survey that's some complicated thing. When you renew your license every year, you do it on the National Online Licensing System now, and you put in information. You can just put who owns it, and if you're lying and you've got a trust agreement where you're hiding something, there's a random chance you get audited. If you turn up, you're lying on that audit, you lose the license. Do the same thing. Fishermen already do it for EI. When you fill out your EI forms, every week they ask you, has your location changed? Has your payment changed? Have you been lying about working? Like, there's more complicated process just to get an EI check because you can't find work. Shouldn't be that hard once a year for a license holder to put down who owns their license, who are the beneficial owners besides you as a representative, and if they're lying, you lose your license. It's not complicated. So, sorry to simplify problems. I feel like maybe I've had too many toxic relationships in my life or something, but I'm tired of being gaslit here, okay? So I guess the takeaway from me is, it just has to happen. I mean, FOPO's a long time ago. These concerns are coming home to roost. I'll just give one really quick example, and then I'll jump off. But we asked in 2018, stopping future sales of quotas to licensed non-harvesters or First Nations. And as we said, a House court case was part of that. The appeal decision's coming up, and we want those licenses to be there for that fishery. Well, DFO didn't listen to us, but FOPO did, and it became recommendation number 2. And so we thought at that time, okay, it'll get taken into place. DFO didn't listen to FOPO, didn't listen to us. And last year, the appeal decision came out, a House that realizes their rights finally after fighting for a long time, and we support them. And we offer, okay, we've got these licenses for sale, boats, gear, we can transfer over. The traps don't even have to come out of the water, and we're ready to do that. And instead, the government wouldn't buy that access, said it was too expensive, and 4 of those licenses just got sold to a processor in Prince Rupert. So that's the real world right now. That's not the in the clouds, what could happen if that's just happening right now. And for anyone here that maybe isn't necessarily in fishing every day, as a taxpayer, Canadians have to pay for reconciliation, and we voted too. That crab license that was maybe $1 million, $1.2 million, is now $1.6 million, and that's going to mean less access for First Nations and a bigger bill for Canadians. So I just don't understand who the party is we're leaving out here that's going to be affected. I own licenses. I don't think my license values are going to drop that much. I'd way rather sell them to another harvester of First Nations than a processor is going to lower my crab price. So just in summary, it seems like there's a lot of support here, and I think we just need to get this done and get moving, and I just don't really see a reason to just why we weren't moving a few years ago, but I'll leave time for my colleagues, but I think the other young harvesters or independent harvesters would support me here. So.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dawn Webb. I am the organizer for the UFAW. I am from a fishing family. I am married to a fisherman. My daughter is a fisherman. She fished with her dad. I have a type, apparently. We've heard over and over here tonight, or in the last 2 days, that we need harvesters to show up. 2 years ago, these guys went to Ottawa. They signed the petitions. They sent the letters. They did all of that. And I've spent the last couple of hours, you can see I've got a list here. It's nowhere near even done. We've got guys that are right now, they're working on their gear. They're trying to keep their clams from freezing. They're driving their boats, all of that have either given their names so that I can write them down, or they are Zooming in or calling in the next 15 minutes, 20 minutes, so that they can let you know that it is time that we get this done. They couldn't be here because they're busy out there working, trying to survive. And if we don't do something, like, I wish I was being dramatic in saying this, but we are not going to have a commercial fishing industry on the West Coast. And that's insane because we have some of the most conservatively managed, sustainably caught, healthiest seafood that there is in the world. And there's no reason. It's only policy. That's the only thing standing in the way. And we have been begging and asking, and I am going to let these guys let you know, and women, there's a few of them on here as well. I'm just going to ask them to speak, let you know how important this is, and that they support it, because that's my understanding, is that we need to let you know, like, we need this done. So we start from the top. Calvin, I think you need to unmute yourself there.
Hello, Calvin Cedar here. Fourth generation commercial fisherman. We've seen every process for the last 50 years that hasn't done us any good, and the only one that can is an owner-operated policy, or we'll lose it all. All the quota, all the licenses will merely be sharecroppers, and it's not right. We have to look ahead. Thank you very much.
Kyle?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
You bet.
My name is Kyle Lewis. I am the Vice President of the UFAWU. Right off the top, I can't stress the importance of this owner-operator stuff enough. I spoke yesterday, for those of you that were there, about some everyday issues that we face. I was unable to be there today because I was dealing with herring licensing stuff, and I hung up on the Zoom call of herring licensing, and I got a call back saying I just got outbid for my prawn license. I paid $30,000 for my prawn license last year. I bought new gear, outfitted my boat, I put over $100 grand into it, and I just got word about 3 hours ago that I don't have a license now because a plant went behind closed doors and outbid me, double the license price. The person that got it is not going to be fishing the boat. They just got the license for somebody else to fish. We need owner operator. 3 hours ago, I had a license. Now I don't for prawns. I don't know what I'm going to do. I want my kids to be able to fish. And I had my daughters on my boat with me the other day asking me, are we going to be able to fish, Dad? And I honestly didn't have a straight answer for them. I can't stress enough these recommendations that we've put forward time and time again and restructured and put out, they need to be put into policy. We need to move on this yesterday. I don't even think we'll be able to sit and talk about this next year because it's going to be too late. So I'd like to give credit to some of the stuff that Duncan was saying. He hit the nail right on the head. Completely accurate. But yeah, I don't want to take up too much time, but we're all singing the same song right now. It's about time to get heard. Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle. Michael? No, you're on mute.
There we go. Hey, check 1, 2. 5 by 5? Okay. First things, I'm Mike Steinman. I've been diving sea urchins, cucumbers, geoduck, mainly urchins and cucs since 1997. My father used to fish in the 60s. And by the way, he told me, he passed away this last July, but he would always tell me that everybody was warned when they turned the licenses into these A licenses with salmon. He was building gill netters at the time, and he said that all his friends that were fishing, everybody was saying it's not the right thing to do. Should be owner-operator at all times. First things first is safety. We want to attract the right people into this industry. Safety goes out the window when a company owns a license, and that suddenly the money goes to, I can give you more details on it. Conservation. There's a lot of people talk conservation. Well, when a person out there actually owns and has a say in what they're harvesting, they're not going to poach. They're not going to throw away fish. They're going to find ways to make money out of that, and the conservation kicks in. Then local economics. Look what's happened back east when they go owner-operator. You got yourself a boat building business. Has anybody researched into that? That is very important. We have suddenly a good economy, local economy back east. And there's a question that I never got a straight answer from is this a charter issue too? I was told by Fisheries that they have to treat federal law states that we're a federal thing and we have to be treated the same all across Canada. So why aren't they pushing that here? I know what's going on. They're trying to get us out of here and I don't know the exact details, but the point is, its owner-operator would be, first of all, much safer. Second of all, the conservation. And then third, of course, our local economy. We'd have a boat building business industry. We'd have much more than that. I'll stop right there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't have there's not a name. Sorry? Oh, Barry. Sorry. Go ahead, Barry. Barry?
Barry Marcotte, can you hear me?
We sure can.
Good. Okay, I started fishing with my dad in '53, and back in the '60s, he was on about owner-operator, and I didn't get my first boat until '75, and I've been an owner-operator since, but I can see it slipping away. Owner-operator is an absolute must for the fishing industry. I'll stop there. There are other people, I'm sure.
Thank you very much. Peter? Oh, you know what? I'm gonna let Theo go because he's in the middle of working on his gear, and I promised him that I'd get him in and out.
Okay,
so.
no problem.
Okay, go ahead, Theo.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
We can.
Hi, I've been fishing since I was 13. I'm 35 now, so over 20 years. Trying to make a go of it, and frankly, I don't see a future with the owner-operator. You know, we got all these guys I fish with, trying to buy homes, trying to buy gear. And as you can see, I got 5 guys waiting for me right now that I had to stop work just to make this call to tell you guys how important it is. For me, owner-operator is the only way to the future. I can't see myself being here if it doesn't go that way. Like I said, I got these guys waiting for me, so I'm sorry, but I gotta let you go. You have a good day.
Thanks, Theo. Okay, Peter, go ahead.
Hi, Peter Newman here, second generational commercial fisherman. My father ran the Sanderling Ocean Achiever. He was a license holder for herring, salmon, and quota holder for groundfish. He's also a vessel owner. He sold out when I was young in age, and now the companies own 90% of our licenses and 90% of our boats. And a young person as myself trying to get started in the industry, it's far-fetched for me to be a license holder nowadays or a boat owner without having some sort of backing. And I believe that this coach should move forward owner-operator. Thank you.
Thank you. Kim?
Yeah, do you hear me?
We do, yeah. Oh, you're on mute now.
Okay, you hear me now. I'm a third generation commercial fisherman on this coast. I've been running my own vessels for 44 years. There isn't many fisheries on this coast I haven't been a part of. I thought I would end my fishing career as a gill net salmon fisherman, but it seems the DFO is actively pursuing the elimination of the largest independent owner-operator fleet on the BC coast, which is the gill net fleet. And I'll give you an example of why I make that announcement. In Area 8, Bella Coola, there's a hatchery, Snootley Hatchery. They've spent tens of millions of dollars upgrading that facility. As of 2023, the DFO plans on reducing the chum hatchery output by 75%. By 2027, that will be the final nail in the coffin for the salmon, gillnet, and seine fleet on the Central Coast. 4 years from the time they reduce that output, there will be no more fishery. It's a viable fishery now. It can continue to be a viable fishery, but yet DFO is hell-bent on eliminating that fishery. I don't understand why, except to give it to other user groups. It's all I can see. It's going to eliminate the commercial fishery. It'll eliminate the economic opportunity fisheries, the new hawk. There's been all kinds of young fellas getting vessels and gear to participate in the commercial and the EO fishery, and now that will be stopped. They say the PSSI is going to make more hatcheries, produce more fish on this coast, and yet I have it in hard copy. I've passed it around. They are about to eliminate 75% of the production of the chum fishery, and they say in years to come they're going to reduce the hatchery output on Chinook salmon as well. Completely wrong. It's criminal what is happening. I would like to continue being a commercial fisherman. Owner operator is the only way that I see our younger generation having any opportunity at all to become a fisherman or participate in commercial fisheries. Thank you.
Thanks, Kim. Shalane? You're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
We can, yeah.
Okay, I just logged on here, so I was a little late to the party.
That's all right. Literally, like I've said to everybody, we just need you guys to know how badly we need this and how everybody who is out there actively fishing understands that and supports it. And that's it.
Yeah, absolutely support owner operator.
Awesome. Thank you, Shalane. Jess? Okay. Here, I know Dave's got to get back to work. Sorry, I got to, the people have been on the phone. Dave, do you want to say a quick word so you can get back to work? Okay?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can.
Coming through clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, I apologize for not being there in person. I would have liked to. Busy getting ready for herring fishing. Yeah, what everybody's saying, I totally agree with. Take it off speaker, maybe that'll be clear. 5th generation fisherman from Pender Harbor and getting ready for herring, which again, we're fishing 10% of the biomass, so a lot of people aren't even bothered going herring fishing. There's a lot of sad stories. I won't get into all of them. Just not a lot of great outlook for any of the fisheries I'm involved with or my friends. I've had lots of friends exit the industry. I think the things that are really plaguing us right now are these marine protected areas. As much as we all want to jump on board owner operator, it's super crucial. There's just so many other fires we have trying to put out all the time, and it's just like nonstop. It's to the point where, like I say, lots of people I know that were successful at fishing at one point have got out of it because they just don't see any way of growing in the industry. So sad to see. My father still fishes. He was, of course, part of the heyday of fishing. I'm sure he'd like to see us do the same thing, but we need access. We need access to licenses, which we don't have. Of course, they're going to be taking down all the salmon licenses here that they can. I don't know how that's going to improve anything, but that's where people are at. So we're losing access to licenses with the buyback. That we're losing access to fishing grounds with these Ocean Protections Act. and marine protected areas, which could see 40% or better of our fishing grounds completely eliminated. So yeah, the fleet's going to shrink drastically over the years. I don't know what's going to be left. Sad to see. And yeah, like I say, it's just one thing after the other. But owner operator is important. It's important to own your license, of course, and maximize your money. I mean, if you have to pay somebody $6 a pound for halibut, and you make yourself $2 or $3 a pound, it's barely enough to pay for the increase in fuel that we're going to see in April 1st here. So that's all I have to say.
Thanks, Dave. Jory, it's JT Marlin. I don't know whoever muted it. He's on the phone.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Go ahead, Jory. Thank you.
Hi, this is Jory Tarkinen. I'm a fourth generation commercial fisherman from Sointula and Pender Harbor as well. And I just want to stress how important we all know that owner operator is to all of us. Like I just did a commercial long-lining trip, quillback, targeted species, and we got in, we thought it was a decent trip, and after we paid all our leases and fuel and everything, it was we barely broke even, and that was like 10 days out there, 4 days at anchor from bad weather. Yeah, and it's just with the lack of money and stuff coming, it's very stressful on all our families, and a lot of people are relying on everybody on the Zoom call. Thank you.
Thanks, Jory. Morley, I think you've been on for a while. You're on mute. There you go.
Hey there, can you hear me now?
We can.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I'm been involved in the commercial industry for a long time now, and I'm a young fisherman, and I do prawns and gooey duck, and I just wanted to say that as soon as the license holders are no longer on the boats, you can see a drastic downward trend in the safety, maintenance of the boats, the wages to the fishermen, and I just wanted to let everyone know that, and hopefully we can go to owner operator. Thanks.
Thank you. Jess, do you want to try again? Jessica?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Jessica Taylor. I'm a commercial fisherman from Sointula, fourth or fifth generation, I'm not too sure. Yeah, I'm just on here to say that I support owner operator, and as well as my partner, Jared Sparrow here. He also supports it as well.
Thank you.
And that's it. Yeah, no problem.
Richard's towing a skiff, so I don't know if he's going to be able to come off.
Well, hello there. Hey,
there
it's Richard Michelson. I'm a fourth generation fisherman. I'm drifting around in a skiff right now, help these guys get rid of a derelict boat. But we look at as salmon fishermen, the model to the north of us, owner operator, and how it's changed everything there, and definitely supporting it. I've been growing up on those owner operator, and it raised our whole family, and I'd like to do it as well. So that's here to support the message.
Thanks, Richard. Andy, you've been waiting since the beginning. Andy Olson?
Yeah, thanks. I meant to be there yesterday, and today I was sick and had to leave. I apologize. I think the message from all the fishermen was pretty clear. The race to the bottom is on, and the fishing for the least amount possible has led to safety challenges, conservation issues, and a raft of other concerns that fishermen are having to deal with on a day-to-day basis. We need to change the system. I think personally, owner-operator doesn't go far enough, but I think it's a step in the right direction. When you see the landed values and the way that they've stagnated on the West Coast versus the East Coast in the owner-operator system, it's clear that the money from the fishing value is going to someone else other than the fishermen. and other than the communities that the fishing has taken place in on the West Coast. I support this message, and I support anything that we can do to keep the income and the revenue and the benefits from the fishing in the communities and going to the fishermen. Thanks.
Thanks, Andy. Art? Art Lawson? He's here. He supports owner-operator. I can't hear you, Art, so I don't know if there's something going on with the phone. I also, like I said, I've got this list here. As you can see, I've been up here. I've been texting back and forth with people who are literally like in the middle of fishing, etc. So we could probably go on for an hour, or I hope that you've gotten the message. You know? Do we have anybody else? Is everybody getting ready to go back to work? Hey, Richard. Good? Are we good? Like, are we good, please?
Okay, I'm on here, I think.
There we go. There, you got a round of applause before you even spoke, Art. Go ahead.
I don't hear anything.
We can hear you.
Okay. Anyways, I support this idea of owner-operator, as I see all the efforts of fishermen come to nothing because we're not operating our own licenses. Too much money is going to lease. And we also have no say in what happens in the industry when corporations own all the companies. So I am fully behind Don Webb and the union in their efforts to prevent this.
Thank you, Art. I think, Michael, did you just log in? I'm losing track. See how many people need this office? Michael? You're on mute. There you go.
I've already
did
said
you?
my piece. Yeah,
Okay,
but I could
perfect.
I could embellish on it. But yes, the owner operator. Look what's happened back east. Everyone can see, and the transition is going to take a little longer, and everybody wants it yesterday. But you can take a look what happened back east. It's going to be a fight, and if we all stick together, we just got to do it.
Thank you.
If I could just make a quick comment in closing there, Don, I just want to show my appreciation for you setting up this call. Like you said, we're all flat out busy. Unfortunately, we don't all have the luxury to come out there and lobby because we're busy trying to keep a roof over our heads. So I just want to show my appreciation for putting in the effort to get us on the call, to get our voices heard. I got to step out. I got to go get some nets on the boat. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you all very much. Really.